to spend your weekly wage differently to a monthly one. So we'll do all this budgeting stuff a bit closer to 9 o'clock. Now, time for the panel. Verity Johnson, Newshub features writer, and I think first-time voter, if not first time, then certainly the first time she'll be informed about what's going on, and former president of the Labour Party, Tony Soprano. No, Mike Williams. Great to have you guys on the show. Now, someone did call you. I was way loyal that called you that.
That's right,
yes,
yep.
low life.
Own it. That's quite a good moniker.
You like it?
Yeah, I think it's really impressive.
No, it means you kill people, you take them out the back.
Oh, I do.
Well,
I
you
used
did
to.
actually, under Alan Clark. Anyway, Verity, now you came on the program a few weeks ago, very excited because Materia Today had forced your hand. You finally found someone and something to vote for.
To believe in. Yeah, and I was really excited, and then after everything that went down, I kind of feel very let down, disillusioned, and a bit grumpy. And I'm back in the original situation where I've got an election coming up, and I don't feel inspired about it anymore.
Okay, so you had a 2-week flirtation
with politics.
Materia, as she did with the polls. And so who are you voting for now?
Probably Jacinda.
Why?
Because I didn't vote for, I don't want to vote for James Shaw because he's not the person who inspired me. And I look at Jacinda's policies and I think she's a moderately enthusiastic and inspirational person. I mean, I don't know if she actually is, but she gives that off, that's her aura.
Right. Now, Mike, do you pinch yourself every morning with this disbelief that Labour's back in the race? 3 weeks ago you give them 10% chance. Now they're in the game.
Yeah, I do pinch myself with disbelief, but Duncan, I thought there was something building up before Jacinda came along, and I think it was the kind of thing that exploded with Brexit and with Trump. There is a kind of malaise out there, and I think Jacinda sort of just crystallised it.
Well, you needed a magnet for that enthusiasm or change, didn't you?
I think you did, yeah. You needed a sort of, I don't know the word.
Catalyst?
Catalyst, that's the word.
Okay, let me ask you this. So you've got the Ardern effect, which is, people saying they're going to vote Labour for the first time, students, all sorts of things. Does Labour stand for a capital gains tax? Do you have any idea?
They honestly haven't decided, and there are some arguments for and against, and their position that they're going to think about this and get some expert advice, I don't think it's going down terribly well at all. And
Mike, they've had 9 years in opposition to think about this, mate.
That's exactly what Stephen Joyce keeps saying.
9 years?
Yeah, and I noticed Stephen Joyce on your program this morning talking about, it's going to fall on plumbers and that sort of thing. This is the kind of scare tactics. But
no, because Labour's last policy on capital gains was farmers, small businesses, and it was 15%, and it was any sale of a small business. Remember?
I don't. But,
okay.
I'll take your word for it. But I think Stephen Joyce is playing this card far too early. This is panic behaviour by National, and you're seeing quite a lot of that. I mean, you saw them gathering in a paddock, 3 of them, and announced 10 new roads last weekend.
I'm still waiting for the bridges up north. Hey, just tell me very quickly before we talk about Queenstown, what's Ardern's biggest weakness, Mike?
I'm trying to think. She's highly intelligent. She's
no, not the strengths, the weakness. Come on.
No, you've got me there. I'm sorry, Duncan.
Bull dust.
That is a stupid question.
There's no such thing in journalism, mate.
No, it's actually a good question.
It's a great question.
And I'm genuinely flummoxed. I can't think of one.
Well, have a think about this because you're here till 8:30, so you've got plenty of time. Queenstown, too elite for the average New Zealander? You've just been there.
I have just been there, yeah. And I got flights down for 65 one way, which was awesome. And I spent maybe 200 a night in an Airbnb. And I saved up for that, but I could do it, and I don't have a lot of spare money. So I think that it's great Airbnb are taking over the market because it's making it more accessible. By the way, arguing that we should have this little hotspot for rich people in New Zealand and everyone else can just get lost, that's really mean.
Can you point at it? Hey, this is just a moment.
You aristocrat.
Well, I can't disagree with you. It is mean. But,
and I said
but you
to
don't
him,
care.
Verity, I said to him, I don't like it because I wouldn't be able to afford to go. And he was like,
I know.
Whatever.
Yeah, and you're just like, I don't care.
Verity, have you not worked out what Mark stands for by now?
Is it aristocracy?
Yeah, it is all that, yes. But no, the very elite of the aristocracy. Yeah. Mike, Queenstown, do you go often? Is it a place
I haven't been there in years, but I find myself in agreement with Mark.
Oh, my God.
I think you've got to have... I know, but I think you've got to have at least one really posh, over-the-top place.
And that's it?
That's it. Why not?
It's not hard enough.
Because it should be accessible to everybody.
In New Zealand have a place that we can't go to or that the poor can't afford to go to.
Well, you can go to. You can drive through. You just can't afford to stay there.
Oh, my goodness. Mark Richardson and Mike Williams.
You guys form your own political
joined at the hip. Mark's parents will disown him. OK, it's 20 minutes after 8. The panel continues in just a moment.
And I don't want to see me, 'cause I
24 minutes after 8, you're with the AM show with our partners Chorus. Fantastic to have you along. This morning, Verity Johnson, Newshub features writer and former president of the Labour Party. He's still looking for Jacinda's first weakness, Mike Williams. We will get to that point very shortly too. Easter trading, yes or no? Should we open up the shops over Easter?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a second. I might start with Verity.
No, I just think you should just keep it the same because, like, as someone who's worked terrible minimum wage jobs for awful bosses, like, they will make you work every hour they can possibly squeeze out of you, and you need a mandatory holiday so you don't have to work that day.
Okay, so yours is not a church thing, not a religious thing?
I think it's a nice gesture of respect for the fact that we have a Christian heritage. But
Wow, that's nice. It's old-fashioned. Quite like it. Mike, you?
I think the situation is ludicrous. I mean, what we're going to have is shops open in Parnell and closed in Newmarket. That's loopy.
Yeah, and the government's flicked it to the council. So the Auckland Council today will vote on whether this happens or not. My understanding is, because we've spoken to the people concerned, that they will vote for the status quo.
That's what I understand, and I think it's silly.
Okay, so you would open all hours?
I would look. 43% of us are ticking the box at saying no religion at all. So it's just silly.
Yeah, I do wonder, though, if the government flicks this to the councils, it's too hard for the government to have a...
I don't want to think about
well,
it.
it's like fluoride, isn't it? I mean, that's not a decision for
Yeah,
councils,
that's
it's
what
a
they've
decision
done.
for the chief bloody medical officer,
Yeah.
isn't it? And I wonder on this one whether there needs to be a proper decision made at a central government level.
I would have thought so, but this is a kind of gutless approach, isn't it?
OK, I want to discuss slowing down. Now, there's new survey out, new information out, new results out that show slowing down makes you achieve more. I'm not the poster child for this.
I think you're the opposite.
Yeah, and Mark's certainly not, with 14 shows across one network. Mike, do you slow down and achieve more, or you'd be the other way, wouldn't you?
I've tried not to slow down, but I don't multitask. I focus on one thing at a time.
Do you miss being the president of the party?
I certainly don't miss that, no.
No. Are you busier now than then, or then?
Well, I'm as busy as I want to be. I run the Howard League, and that grows exponentially all the time. We're teaching more and more prisoners how to read, and I really enjoy it. So I'm doing as much as I want to do.
No, but do you think you achieve more doing less than trying to take on too much, I suppose, Verity?
I actually think that you expand to fill the obligations you have. If you take on more obligation, you find you can rise to the challenge.
Yes.
I've often found if I do less, I get lazier. Whereas if I've got a lot of stuff to do, I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, galvanise.
Give a busy person a job.
Yeah.
Mike, not letting you off. You're not allowed out of the building until you tell me Jacinda's weakness.
The only thing I can think of, and I think it was Verity's suggestion in the break, she's a bit earnest. But then again, I have seen her crack up and laugh. So she's got a good sense of humour too.
Brilliant answer. A brilliant diversion, a brilliant dodge. Well done. You're welcome back anytime. Great to see you
Thank
guys.
you.
Appreciate your time on the program. Okay, 27 minutes. I mean, if being earnest is your only weakness, not bad. 27 minutes after 8, just ahead the 8:30 news, of course, and then some tips to budget depending on your pay cycle. So we'll tell you all you need to know. That's coming up after 8:30.